Now let's get into the segment of the show we've been enjoying for how long we've been doing this now?
Last May. Yeah, we're about 15, 16 months on this.
And we're repeating some of the people that we have talked to before, especially the ones we really enjoyed spending some time with. And one of those people is Tim Bailey. Tim, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Good morning to you.
How's everything going this morning, Tim?
Things are well. Things are well on my end. So,
following your name, we see a comma and a PES. Tell people what that means.
Performance Enhancement Specialist. I'll repeat that again. Performance Enhancement Specialist.
Yeah, not a performance-enhancing substance, but a specialist. One will get you in trouble. One will build you a better bod. It's pretty easy to differentiate those. Tell us a little bit about you. How'd you get started in this?
Just really the passion and the love for athletics. Growing up all my life, being around athletics and playing high school football in high school, and then also going on to college and play and playing some professional ball as well in the AFL in the early 2000s, and just really stayed around the game, stayed around sport, and just saw a lot of things that were missing, within the performance enhancement realm, and just really, helping, athletes improve their overall athletic performance, helping athletes reduce injuries as well, and getting more educated and getting smarter with fine-tuning their bodies so they can go out and, perform at a peak level. So, that was my passion and my reason for wanting to be a part of this great field in performance enhancement.
Pretty cool, and I love the fact that now this is two people from Mercy Health we've talked to who've played pro sports.
Yeah,
and I forget the other guy's name who played pro soccer.
Pro soccer, yeah.
Okay.
And the MLS.
Yeah, got pro football, you got pro soccer. You got people who know what it is to reach the highest levels.
Yeah, and
correct.
Tim, you did say you played some college football. Where were you matriculating?
Yeah, I matriculated at Grand Valley State University in Michigan, and graduated from there in the mid-'90s. And, like I said, after I left Grand Valley State, played some arena football for about 4 years. And then actually, myself, I sustained a ACL injury back in 2001, I believe it was. And didn't have didn't have the surgery. It was a slight tear in my ACL, which actually I think it inhibited me from actually prolonging my career at that level. But no regrets on my end. But it was a great 4 years in that league. So.
The injury that you sustained back in 2001, would it be as significant had you sustained that in 2021?
Yeah, probably not. I think today, ACLs, you can recover from ACL, within, 8-9 months. Back then, early 2000s, some of the orthos are really still trying to get their brain around how to better repair the ACL to allow the athlete to, return at a faster rate. So, with science, with research and technology, the actual recovery process is now sped up like 10 times.
What's the majority of your focus? Is it more on injury prevention or performance or increasing performance?
Well, that's a great question. My take on looking at, we don't look at preventing injuries per se. That's not our primary focus. Even though we do training, strength and conditioning, movement training, working on helping athletes work on change of directional skills. My take on looking at training should be the primary focus of training should be to putting together a methodical program that's designed to enhance athletic performance, and it has to be engineered by science. So with that being said, any great program that's designed to focus on those two things that I just mentioned is going to actually have a big impact on the athlete, reducing that potential chance of injury. There's no bulletproof program out there that's designed to decrease injury only. And I think that there's a lot of misled information out there that people sometimes call their programs, such as it's a preventative program. Well, a preventative program to me is a well-designed, methodical, scientific-driven program, if that makes sense.
It does. And when you look at the advances in medical technology, in what you have learned over the last number of years, you look back at some of the famous players of the past whose careers came to an end. Well, got that bad knee, got that. There's nothing we can really do about it. They're all done. They had to call it a career. And if this were happening today, they'd be taking a few months off to recuperate, rehabilitate, and be back on the field.
Yes, exactly. And I've seen athletes that have actually just come off of been released by the docs to what we call return to play, return to action, return to sport. And these athletes are they go through the process of going in to see the doctor, and the doctor tells them, okay, you're released to go back to sport. And my big thing is today is that every athlete that has sustained any type of knee injury needs to be assessed prior to going back into that environment that they actually participate in. And I don't mean just going to see the doctor. I'm talking about going in and actually, teaming up with a performance entity like, Mercy Health Top Performers, to where, we can come in and the athlete can come in and we can actually better assess the athlete as far as looking at their movement patterns. And I think today, if athletes are doing that, their chances of tearing that ACL again or tearing that opposite lever will be reduced significantly because now today, that athlete would then have a much more broader scope of education on how to better take care of their body to prevent those injuries that they may have sustained.
Getting to this return to play status, are these patients that you've been working with for a while, or is this somebody that has been working on their own, has a knee injury and wants to go back? Can they come to you and say, am I ready to come back yet?
It varies. I mean, there's been a couple of athletes that have actually, that we've been working with for years that have sustained a ACL injury or some type of knee injury, damage to a ligament. But there's also some athletes out there that we didn't know about that never came across, my desktop as far as potential clients, to where we get them in, they go through our assessment. Our assessment is pretty unique. I think we're the only entity here in the area. We use a software called DorsaV, and DorsaV is a software that we utilize to look at the knee in real time. We want to be able to see what the knee's doing, because a lot of the actual injuries today are sustained due to landing, cutting, and usually a lot of the ACL injuries are that I've seen that have occurred is due to an athlete landing with a straight leg. And once that happens, that athlete comes down with all that force on that leg, and then that ACL just snaps. It's destroyed. So, we've seen a lot of, volleyball players, a lot of some basketball players that actually have gone on to sustain a knee injury. So again, what we try to do is we try to get athletes in and say, okay, here's what we're going to look at, here's why we're going to look at it, and here's the program that we're going to actually design to allow you to, get back to that sport that you love and that you've grown up playing ever since you were 7 or 8 years old. And here's the things going forward that we'll look at. We'll maintain these things here to allow you not to be able to sustain this knee injury again, if that makes sense.
If you guys are just joining us, we're spending some time with our friend Tim Bailey from Mercy Health. We're talking Mercy Health Top Performers, performance coaches in sports. For people who are tuned in this morning and, it's either them or they've got a kid, they've got a grandkid who's quite an athlete and all that. Who is it that comes to see you?
Can you repeat that question again?
Yeah, who is it that would be tuned in this morning and would be thinking, Tim is the guy that I should call because I don't think I'm getting this quite right, either for myself, my kid, my grandkid. Who is it that winds up in front of you?
Well, we see athletes starting at age 9, 10. on up through, ages, 18, 19, and some athletes that are in college that come through our facility. So, our age range is pretty wide, as I just mentioned. But, for people that are out there listening today, if you're looking for a well-designed, formalized strength and conditioning program to help your athlete enhance their athletic performance, reduce possible chances of injuries, and want to actually be that peak athlete that you're capable of being, definitely this is a stop for you, for sure. Mercy Health Top Performers is definitely the first, should be the first stop.
Tim, you do seem to know what you're talking about, so I'm going to get the definitive answer from you right here.
Okay.
Stretching. We've heard there's 3,000 camps out there about do you need to stretch before you do any
we
athletic.
Stretch before the show every morning.
I do stretch before the show. That's good. How important is stretching to injury prevention and performance?
It's huge. It's paramount in my eyes, and I think if we can get athletes to understand the key importance of that today, I think there may be a possibility where we can start seeing a greater reduction of injuries, because I do believe that. I don't think athletes, I think they warm up, but there's a difference between warming up and then warming up correctly, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding what areas need to be targeted, what areas are going to be worked that day, because the areas that are going to be worked that day, those are the areas that should be targeted in the warm-up. And when you look at strength and conditioning, when you look at movement, you never, especially in sports performance, you never train in isolation. So a warm-up for an athlete should be a more macro approach, so to speak, if that makes sense, to where we're actually looking at warming up the entire chain instead of part of the chain.
One of the things I love about this particular segment when we spend time with the experts at Mercy Health is you get to realize the amount of expertise that's coming into play here. Tim's a guy who knows what he's talking about, and it's easily discerned when you hear the answers to some of these questions. Tim, I wish we had a lot more time to spend with you, but unfortunately we don't. For people who want to reach out, learn more, get to know you, take part in the program, what is the best way to go about that?
Best way to go about that, we're available, mercyhealthtopperformers.org. You can go to our website. You can contact us through via Instagram, via Facebook. Mercy Health Top Performance Training here in Rockford, Loves Park. Those are some good ways to contact us and inquire about our programs and inquire also too about our assessment that we do with all of our athletes when they first come to our facility. And that's one big thing that we actually take pride in, is making sure that we're taking all the proper steps to be able to give this athlete or that athlete an experience of a lifetime to reach peak performance.
Tim, we know you have a very, very busy day, and we appreciate you coming on the show not once but twice with us and sharing the expertise. We really do appreciate the knowledge and the time, and let's go for a third interview at some point.
Hey guys, as long as you're willing to have me, I'm wide open.
We're always willing. Tim, thanks a lot for your time. Have a great day.
Okay, guys, thank you.
There's our friend Tim Bailey from Mercy Health and Mercy Health Top Performers. Well worth checking out. He is good.